question with us all should be not so much how we became enlightened, but now do we love Christ? Now do we regret our want of greater conformity to his image? If we can honestly answer these questions in the affirmative, we are believers, and can claim our part in that precious promise. Whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Spiritual life is ours, and eternal life is essentially connected with it, and must be our portion, without an inquiry into the means by which we were called, whether by the thunders and lightning of Sinai, as Paul was smitten, or by the still small voice. Acts chapter 9 verses 3 and 4, 1 Kings chapter 19 verse 12, Job chapter 4 verses 16 and 17. The value of such a narrative to a terror-stricken prodigal is vividly shown by Bunyan in his Jerusalem Sinner Saved, in one of those colloquial pieces of composition in which he eminently shone. Satan is loath to part with a great sinner. "What, my true servant," quoth he, "my old servant, wilt thou forsake me now? Having so often sold thyself to me to work wickedness, wilt thou forsake me now? Thou horrible wretch, dost not know that thou hast sinned thyself beyond the reach of grace, and dost think to find mercy now? Art not thou a murderer, a thief, a harlot, a witch, a sinner of the greatest size, and dost thou look for mercy now? Dost thou think that Christ will foul his fingers with thee? It is enough to make angels blush, saith Satan, to see so vile a one knock at heaven gates for mercy, and wilt thou be so abominably bold to do it? Thus Satan dealt with me, says the great sinner, when at first I came to Jesus Christ. And what did you reply, saith the tempted? Why, I granted the whole charge to be true, says the other. And what, did you despair, or how? No, saith he, I said, I am Magdalene, I am Zacchaeus, I am the thief, I am the harlot, I am the publican, I am the prodigal, and one of Christ's murderers, yea, worse than any of these. And yet God was so far off from rejecting of me, as I found afterwards, that there was music and dancing in his house for me, and for joy that I was come home unto him. O blessed be God for grace, says the other, for then I hope there is favour for me. The Grace Abounding is a part of Bunyan's prison meditations, and strongly reminds us of the conversation between Christian and hopeful on the enchanted ground. Christian: Now then, to prevent drowsiness in this place, let us fall into good discourse. Hopeful: With all my heart. Christian: Where shall we begin? Hopeful: Where God began with us. To prevent drowsiness, to beguile the time, he looks back to his past experience, and the prison became his Patmos, the gate of heaven, a Bethel, in which his time was occupied in writing for the benefit of his fellow Christians. He looks back upon all the wondrous way through which the Lord hath led him from the city of destruction to Mount Zion. While writing his own spiritual pilgrimage, his great work broke upon his imagination. And thus it was, I, writing of the way and race of saints, in this our gospel day, fell suddenly into an allegory about their journey and the way to glory. As you read the Grace Abounding, you are ready to say at every step, here is the future author of the Pilgrim's Progress. It is as if you stood beside some great sculptor and watched every movement of his chisel, having seen his design, so that at every blow some new trait of beauty in the future statue comes clearly into view. A great difference of opinion has been expressed by learned men as to whether Bunyan's account of himself is to be understood literally, as it respects his bad conduct before his conversion, or whether he views himself through a glass by which his evil habits are magnified. No one can doubt his perfect honesty. He plainly narrates his bad as well as his redeeming qualities, nor does his narrative appear to be exaggerated. He was the son of a travelling tinker, probably a gypsy, the meanest and most despised rank in the land. When, alarmed at his sins, recollection that the Israelites were once the chosen people of God, he asked his father whether he was of that race, as if he thought that his family were of some peculiar people, and it was easy for such a lad to blend the Egyptians with the Israelitish race. When he was defamed, his slanderers called him a witch, a fortune-teller, a Jesuit, a highwayman, or the like. Brought up to his father's trade with his evil habits unchecked, he became a very depraved lad. And when he states his sad character, it is with a solemn pledge that his account is strictly true. Probably with a view to the full gratification of his sinful propensities, he entered the army and served among the profligate soldiers of Charles I at the siege of Leicester. During this time he was ill at ease. He felt convinced of sin or righteousness, and of